Good evening, Hopper fans. Jamar Perkins here, joined by Ethan Alexander. Apologize for the technical difficulties in our delayed start, but the Hoppers are here set to take on the Fulton Railroaders. And the Hoppers looking to get that final fourth spot in the playoffs as far as in the South Division. And the Hoppers, I just learned earlier a few moments ago, the Hoppers already can kind of chalk up a win via forfeit this upcoming Wednesday. The Bowling Green Pistons, so we've mentioned in some of the broadcasts from the beginning of the season, kind of struggling to have uniforms and things of that nature. So towards the end, struggling to have certain players. They have, from what we are being told, have officially are kind of done for the season in a sense. So the rest of their games will be forfeits, and so that means a win for the Hoppers in a sense. So a better opportunity for the Hoppers to get those playoff spots. Hoppers did fall yesterday to the full count rhythm. Ethan, what did you kind of take? I mean, the main stat you look at in the 8-4 loss is just the hits for the Hoppers. That's the kind of, I feel like, the key when you look at it. Just 2 hits for the Hoppers. Oh, is that basically the name of the game? What did you notice in that contest yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, as far as a hitting offense is concerned, they were pretty much non-existent all night. 2 hits, and they were those 2 hits were spread out too, so they didn't do much in those 2 hits either. Eventually, they did get walked enough times to put some runs on the board, but yeah, the offense from the Hoppers yesterday was pretty stagnant, and full count didn't do all that much to take advantage of that game and blow the Hoppers out of the water or anything like that. So it was a winnable game looking at it in hindsight, but the Hoppers just could not get the bat on the ball.
And one thing kind of to look at too is for the Hoppers in this game, won't get exactly into the lineups just yet, but 2 players that we have not seen a hit for the Hoppers. One of them we have seen, and Tom Barnhart. He played for the Bowling Green Pistons and ended up being a late addition for the Hoppers. So we'll be interested to see him and see how that works for him playing in a different red uniform, could you say. But another player, Devin Keebler. Last name sounds familiar? Well, it should. It's John Keebler's brother. So we'll see Devin Keebler play for the Hoppers. He also plays catcher, similar to John Keebler, but John Keebler has been known to play multiple positions for the Hoppers. But we will see Devin Keebler play today. So kind of cool and interesting to see in a league like this where just days away from the playoffs, trying to get a spot, additions can be made like this, and kind of looking forward to seeing. And of course, you see subtractions. You see a couple of Hoppers have now left for their homes. Some for work. Some just wanting to be with family. So we now see that, and it's some of the originals we still on the squad. Keeping the bulk of them, but a couple of changes that we're noticing. Guys like Tate Banhuser, who will be in the starting lineup tonight, just joined a few weeks ago. Now finding himself being a consistent player in the lineup. So very cool to see that shape up for the Hoppers. But again, the Hoppers will take on the Fulton Railroaders, as we'll go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we will have our coaches show. The Dugout Show is brought to you by the by the Barbecue Shack, as they're offering catering and custom cooking. Visit them Wednesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Friday at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 4687 Pembroke Road. Take a quick break, and we'll have the Dugout Show brought to you by the Barbecue Shack coming up. Jamar Perkins here with Hopper head coach EJ DeVar. How you doing today, Coach?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. So Hopper's taking on the Fulton Railroaders today. Coach, some new faces joining the team towards this last week. How is the difficulty as far as acclimating players this late?
I mean, it is what it is. It's getting late on the summer. All these players, they know what they need to do. They come in for a certain reason. Even if somebody got hurt, some additions that we need, more arms. They know what their roles are and they know what they're called here to do. So I wouldn't say it's too complicated, but it's easy enough, I would say.
Now, Coach, I did notice Tom Barnhart from the Bowling Green Pistons is on the list of one of those players. Hoppers just played him on Friday. So how did that come about, being that kind of quick turnaround?
No, just a couple phone calls, with the Bowling Green team, the head coach, see what their plan was. I heard a couple of rumors that they weren't going to continue to play, so I extended my offer to, a couple kids that stood out, just to help them out, have them play more games and finish out the summer, how they plan. And, him and Tom was one of the ones that answered the call, and, we're happy and lucky to have him here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He was one of the few hits in that game against the Pistons. But is there anything specific about this Fulton team that you remember, and what do you think the Hoppers need to do against a team like this?
I feel like last time we played them, Brady did a really good job in the mount, as he has all summer long. But I say if we pitch the ball well and keep it in the park, I think we'll have a good shot at it. So.
Coach, this team is third in stolen bases with 80 on the air, and they're sixth in being caught stealing, so their turnover rate is pretty good on that. Who's the starting catcher tonight, and what can you tell us about their ability to throw out runners?
We have John Keebler's brother, Devin Keebler.
Yes,
so one of our late call-ups. He looks very solid behind the plate, very quick hands. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do behind the dish and keep him full and at bay. And especially also having Gerard on the mound, lefty, it helps with the running game.
I was just going to ask you about our starting pitcher, John Gerard. So what have you noticed from him on this season as far as what he's done on the mound, and what do you expect from him tonight?
I honestly expect a lot of the same thing. He's done a great job, especially coming from a spring that he didn't see a lot of action and minimum innings to what he's done for us this summer. It's been great. So just a little bit of the same thing for him.
So, Coach, in this situation in the season, if Gerard is throwing well, do we expect him to go more innings than maybe 4 or 5, or is there a kind of number that you're kind of thinking of for that?
No, we're really looking to expand him. The more that he can get us, the better it will be for us. But just we gotta, obviously keep on that pitch count. We don't really need anyone getting hurt right now. So just keep that in mind, and obviously he can extend a little bit more, maybe 1 or 2 more innings than he usually does.
All right, thank you, Coach.
No problem.
No matter what you've been
Welcome back. Here's the Hoptown Hoppers are set to take on the Fulton Railroaders. Want to go ahead and quickly get into our starting lineups brought to you by Reichen Elastomers. Join the Reichen Elastomers team with process operator starting pay at over $18 an hour and an excellent benefit package that includes employee paid benefits. Call 270-475-2150 extension 214 to learn more. For the Railroaders, starting off, it'll be Tasso Foster, then Charlie Furbett. He'll be playing left field. Then the right fielder, Garner Anderson. Then Cade Rogers, the first baseman, will bat fourth. Aiden Gibson, playing third base, will bat fifth. Sixth batter will be the catcher, Emery Wright. The designated hitter will bat seventh. That's Jimmy Manzella. Carter Davis will bat out of center field. He'll be batting eighth. And the ninth hole batter will be Connor Brinkley. He'll be playing the shortstop position. Pitching for the Railroaders will be Griffin Page. And for the Hoppers, it'll be Tom Barnhart starting things off, the new Hopper, as he will be playing. Sam Perkins will be the second batter. Luis Vergara will be the third. Oliverio will be batting fourth. Tate Van Hooser will bat fifth. Stephen Bell will be batting sixth. Carter Hood will be the seventh batter. John Keebler will be playing in the eighth spot, and the nine-hole batter will be his brother, Devin Keebler. The starting pitcher for the Hoppers will be John Gerard, and that's the starting lineups brought to you by Reichen Elastomers. Want to take a quick timeout, and we'll be right back in about 30 seconds. Just want to go ahead and check the game time weather brought to you by Charlie Henderson State Farm Insurance. I'll go ahead and tell you it feels pretty nice here in the ballpark, and it's not too sunny either, but we'll check the WHOP AM forecast brought to you by Charlie Henderson State Farm.
Here's your WHOP Weather Center forecast. Lows dip down to about 68 tonight, under partly cloudy skies with scattered thunderstorms likely. Southwest winds at around 5 miles an hour. Chance for scattered storms again. Tomorrow, highs level off around 88, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, slight chance for scattered storms. Lows dip down to about 66. That's the forecast from the WHOP Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Megan Mulford. Currently, it's 88 degrees.
Thank you, Megan Mulford, for that game time weather. And our opening pitch just a few moments away. It's brought to you by Rapid RX Pharmacy, located on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville. Looking for a new pharmacy? Let the friendly staff at Rapid RX Pharmacy help you. Again, Jean Gerard is going to be the pitcher in tonight's contest. And I didn't note the defensive positions for the Hoppers. Barnhart will be playing center field. Perkins second. Designated hitter is Vergara. Oliverio is left fielder. First baseman Tate Van Hooser. Center fielder Stephen Bell. Carter Hood is playing third base. Shortstop John Keebler. And the catcher will be Devin Keebler. Again, John Gerard pitching. And that first pitch is a strike to Tasso Foster. So 0-1 the count to him. Again, Jamar Perkins here, joined by Ethan Alexander. Swing and a miss there. Quickly an 0-2 count. Yeah, left-handed pitcher is Gerard. I mentioned earlier that in the dugout show, this is the second best team as far as stolen bases. So having a lefty on the mound will help you, as that'll be a shot towards the second baseman Perkins. That'll go towards center field, and it's a base hit to start things off for Foster. So that shot just chips in the infield there and drops. Now a left-handed batter, Charlie Furbett, is at the plate. First pitch, that ball will be grounded towards Perkins. He'll field it. He'll throw over to Keebler short. The throw is made, and that is a double play there. 4-6-3 there. As now 2 outs quickly, and Garner Anderson will come to the plate. Playing right field tonight. First throw, that ball will be fouled and wind behind the bleachers near first base. Garner Anderson from UT Martin, and is a hometown kid there at UT Martin. He's from Martin, Tennessee. Throw there is just a bit outside. Again, this is the first time we are seeing Devin Keebler. 1-1 the count. New addition to the Hoptown Hoppers. That pitch is just a bit too high. So now 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 there. That's a strike there, just outside crossing the plate. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. As the Hoppers here taking on the Fulton Railroaders. The throw. That ball will hit the dirt before home plate. So a full count as Garner Anderson picks up the ball and hands it to Keebler. The full count, that ball will be fouled. You know, as far as same last names goes, Ethan, all of them is, I believe, just been Jones, and they've all been pitchers. So now if I say caught by Jones, or caught by Keebler, excuse me, I might have to specify. But then again, we have 2 totally different positions. You got a catcher and a shortstop right now. But if it's an infield fly, who knows which Keebler will get it. So making my job a bit harder here.
Yeah, might have to say the whole name. I think the more awkward thing is going to be on maybe trying to pick someone off stealing second, and it's a throw from Keebler.
That's very true. As the ball will get loose, and it's a drop third. The throw will be made, and it is going to be safe as Van Hooser has to jump for that one. And so Anderson will reach on the drop to third strike. And you know what I thought about too is batting. You know, I can't say the base hit by Keebler. We're going to get it down. We're going to get used to it. Hopefully many more games to come too as far as this duo. As Hopper's trying to get into the playoffs coming up this weekend. 2 outs, runner at first now. And the first pitch to Cade Rogers. The cleanup hitter is a strike. Oh, 1 the count with the runner at first. The throw. That ball too high. So what could have been a routine strikeout ended up a runner at first, but still a good job from Gerard so far. 1 ball, 1 strike, the throw. That ball too low. So 2 balls and 1 strike. A 2-1 swing and a miss there. Count even out, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, 2 outs and a runner at first. Just started things here if you're just now joining us. It is 0-0 on the top of the first. That throw is low and inside, so that'll be a full count here for the ball. So now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, full count, and that'll be a strikeout as the ball was tipped, but into the glove of Devin Keebler. So a strikeout there will end things, as there was 1 hit. There were no errors. There was 1 left on base and a no run scored as we head to the bottom of the first inning. It'll be Tom Barnhart, Sam Perkins, and Luis Vergara starting the bats for the Hoppers. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. 0-0 is the score, and we'll be back with more Hopper action brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP.
And welcome back here as 0-0 the score in the bottom of the first inning. Tom Barnhart is at the plate for the Hoppers. First throw to him will be Outside for a ball. Barnhart's first at bat as a hopper. Strike is called there. One ball and one strike. As that is a strike as well. Blowing outside, pitching is Griffin Page for the Railroaders. The 1-2 throw, breaking ball is swung on and missed there. So Barnhart will strike out in his first at bat. Sam Perkins is now coming towards the plate.
Yeah, and yesterday, Sam Perkins, I mean, probably had the worst day of his season. I think he struck out 3 times and flew out twice. First game in a long time I've seen from him where he didn't get on base once. And I'm sure he's coming into this game wanting to get a big turnaround after yesterday's performance.
1-0 the count. Inside pitches. Perkins will move away. I failed to mention, too, Griffin Page for the Railroaders is a left-handed pitcher, so both the Hoppers and Railroaders starting off with lefties, as that'll be a foul behind home plate. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Getting 1 out. As that's a swing and a miss there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2-2 the count. And that ball will hit the ground before home plate and goes towards the backstop. So now a full count. Sam Perkins at the plate. The 3-2, that ball will be an infield fly towards the shortstop, and it is grabbed there. As Connor Brinkley makes the grab for the Railroaders. So now 2 outs. 1-0-2. Ethan, I might need your help on this if I missed anything out, but a special night today for the Hoppers, as I believe they call it take shirt off. It's like
the shirts off.
Shirts off on back night. As the first pitch here will be thrown to Luis Vergara. It is a check swing, too high for a ball. Basically, a silent auction where you can make place a wager as far as the specific Hoppers players, as that's an inside pitch for a ball. Place a bet on a specific player's jersey, and then you'll get it. It's interesting looking jerseys too, as kind of a burgundy color with some popcorn, and I believe the theme is kind of like a movie for the Hoppers movie night. So 2 balls and 1 strike. But they have papers here that you can write on, but as a 2-1, and that'll be a hit towards the left center, trying to track it down as a center fielder, and he makes the grab. So that'll be the 3rd out, and it was 3 up, 3 down. So no hits, no errors, none left on base, and no runs scored. I want to finish my thought, though. So they have the papers here that you can sign up and try to make an auction. But if you can't show up to the game, maybe your family back at home, you can call to get in the auction. So the number is 270-305-4350. That's 270-305-4350. You can call and find out what the number is for the specific players' auction or their jersey, and then you can try to get in and get a jersey of your choice from the Hoppers. Again, 270-305-4350, and we'll make sure to throw that number out multiple times throughout this broadcast. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the top of the 2nd inning, checking the manpower of Hopkinsville's scoreboard. It's 0-0.
HOP.
The count is 1 ball and 1 strike to Aiden Gibson for the Railroaders. That pitch will be fouled behind the bleachers near first base. Apologize for the delay. Again, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just started things here. And the top of the second, a ball thrown there. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch, that one too low there. So now a full count.
Okay, the hat threw me off a little bit.
The 3-2, that ball will be, looks like going foul, trying to track it down as Van Hooser. He'll run for it, and he can't get to it there. So foul ball, count will remain full for Aiden Gibson. And Hoppers taking on the Railroads. We are inside Colonel Field, home of Christian County's high school baseball team.
They had seen him. I don't remember who it was. He's the one that brought him.
As that'll be a high pitch for a walk. So Gibson will advance to first. You know, one thing, similar to the way the Pistons, every game we played against the Pistons have been home. Maybe you wouldn't be too mad if every game against the Railroaders was played at Fulton, as you kind of talked to me about earlier, as Fulton has a fun park for power hitters. In a sense, is which area of the field is it that's caved in? Or
yeah, that right field is only about 40 yards behind the infield. It's like, and they got about a 60-foot fence over the top of it, so it's a little bit harder as that's a strike thrown for an 0-1 count. It's a little bit harder to hit it than it would be if it were just a normal wall, but still, this Fulton team is second in the league in home runs because they purposefully aim towards the right side of the field for entire games, trying to hit home runs over that wall.
1 ball, 1 strike here. The runner at first with no outs. Throw there, foul behind home plate. Hits the roof of the broadcast booth. So now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And you know, talking about the silent auction, I'm not sure if Nixon Grace's jersey is up for auction tonight, but if it is, that'd be another one that I'm sure will get a considerable amount of bids.
Fast seller there. 2 balls and 2 strikes here.
I'm sure it would be hard to outbid the parents on that one, though.
That ball will be chopped and fouled, going towards the Railroaders dugout. Two balls and 2 strikes, a runner at first. That throw is low and outside. So now a full count to the right-handed batter, Emery Wright.
Yeah, and if you're John Gerard here, you not only don't want to walk these batters because, you know, that's never fun, but also because these long at-bats right now, full count at-bats, he's throwing a ton of pitches early in this game.
That pitch there is going to be fouled. That one once again goes near the field behind the first base dugout. That was something DeVary talked about in the pregame show. As he mentioned, this is not the time of the year, I mean, maybe no time of the year that you want to overthrow your pitchers. You want to keep everyone healthy as they depart for their colleges. That's a strike 3 there on the full count pitch, looking. And the first out there, second strikeout for Gerard. Now Jimmy Manzella will come to the plate, the designated hitter. He's batting 7th for Fulton. So now the runner still at first with 1 out now. An inside strike there is thrown. So 0-1 the count. Jimmy Manzella comes from the University of Montevideo, and it's from Baldwin, New York. That's a swing and a miss there on the high heater.
Yeah, I have no idea where Baldwin, New York is in relation to, bigger areas of New York, but it always cracks me up hearing these guys come from big states like that. Now they're in Fulton, Kentucky, playing their summer ball.
As a ball is thrown there. Yeah, I mean, we have a California player, Tasso Foster, batted previously. He's from California. Then a decent amount of Tennessees and Kentuckies, as that'll be a foul ball behind home plate. So that one goes over the roof of the broadcast booth. So the count remains the same, 1-2 strike. Got some Texas for the Railroaders. 1-2 the count. That's an inside pitch. Two balls and 2 strikes. One thing to note too. Not sure, Ethan, you might know something about this. I don't believe that there's any, as that'll be a grounder towards third, going towards Hood. It hits his chest a bit, and he can't make the throw. So an error there will reach Manzella to first. Are there any former Hopkinsville baseball players that are currently playing in another team in the OVL?
The only one I can think of is Aaron Hash, who's pitching for Full Count this summer. But apart from that, I don't think so, and unless it's, from multiple years back before I started working with Hoptown. But from just last year's team, I know Aaron Hash, who pitched last year for about a month for Hoptown before getting injured, is currently pitching with the Rhythm.
There's a pitch thrown there. It's going to be a strike, so 0-1 the count. Saying it doesn't seem to be any players from Fulton for the Railroaders. There are some in some areas of Kentucky, Clinton, Kentucky, and Paducah, Kentucky, as that'll be throwing a ball there.
Yeah, you want me to be honest with you, I'm not even sure if there is a high school in Fulton. Those kids may have to go a little bit out to get to their school, so I don't know if it's even possible to have a player from Fulton technically.
That is a swing and a miss there. 1-2 strikes. That is a good point. I have not new to the Kentucky area, but from what I've heard, Fulton isn't a big city.
And especially over there, that they have a lot of schools in that area that are kind of county combined schools, where 3 or 4 counties will share a school. So that could be a part of the Fulton experience.
1-2, as that'll be a shot towards the left field. That will bounce fair as it hits the pole near left field. And the throw is made to third. Run does score.
So what happened here is that ball hit the foul pole in left field, which would mean it's out of the play and would be an automatic double. And so they're probably going to discuss that, bring that back. So that out will not count most likely.
That's what I was thinking. No, the way they kept playing on, I kind of thought, okay, well, I guess that's not a ground rule double, but umpires are discussing. That would score a run for the Railroaders. I believe they scored one regardless.
There will be a run scored no matter what, but they didn't make the call on the automatic double, but it was an automatic double. Yeah, and they will now.
And so the tag out didn't mean a thing. And a double for Carter Davis. And now Connor Brinkley will come to the plate. And we have runners at second and third. And Aiden Gibson did score. So 1-0. First pitch is called ball.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where that one missed. I'm not sure if you can really see it on our broadcast either, but it looked good from here.
As that ball will be, it looks like it'll be going foul near left field. And that one will go out of play. But nice hustle from 3 Hoppers players. It was Carter Hood at third, John Keebler at the shortstop, and out coming out of left field, Dom Oliverio, which is a new look. Oliverio playing left field. We normally seen him, he's either been the DH or he's been playing center field. But a new addition to the Hoppers maybe helps change things. You talk about Barnhart, which he believes played center field every time the Hoppers played against the Pistons, if I'm not mistaken. And he's playing at center field now, so they've shifted Oliverio to left field. So 1-1 strike, runners at second and third. The throw is high there. So that'll make it 2 balls And 1 strike to Connor Brinkley.
Yeah, and we talk about Tom Barnhart. You know, we think about that Bowling Green team being a team that's been pretty bad this season, and of course now their season's over.
As that will be a base hit going past the glove of Gerard, really the body of Gerard. He couldn't get close to it. Now trying to run and score, so that'll be 2 RBI. And a base hit there for Brinkley. Coming in to score was Manzella and Carter Davis. So now 3-0 after the base hit from Brinkley. Now back-to-back base hits for the Railroaders. Coach Albin is coming in having a discussion. Seems to be upset about something. I'm sure if he's looking over at the umpire or seems to be some confusion here. He's looking over at Sam Perkins, kind of has his hands up towards the umpire. Can you make out of anything of what we're seeing here?
No, I have no idea. Maybe, yeah, honestly, the way Mike Albin stopped and then started, maybe they were going to try to tell him that he couldn't have the conference for some reason. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not sure, if I'm being honest with you.
And Coach Albin now making a gesture towards the center field area. Not exactly sure, but we can tell you once again, 3-0 is the score. There's a runner at first. Coach Albin is having a conference with the infield at the mound.
Yeah, and John Keebler's talking to the umpire about something, but again, I still don't know what the conversation is in regards to here.
Well, the umpire is kind of walking over with his hands up. And again, not too sure, but it'll be Foster coming up to bat here in the top of the 2nd inning. It'll be the 6th batter now that has come to the plate for the Railroaders. Hoppers will be in action tomorrow as they'll take on the Madisonville Miners. We mentioned it earlier in the ball game, the Bowling Green Pistons are no longer playing this year in the OVL. Just struggled to have players on the team. The reasoning why Barnhart is out there for the Hoppers in the center field. So that Wednesday game will not be played. So now just 2 more regular season home games for the Hoppers. So Wednesday will be a forfeit though, so that will be a win credited to the Hoppers, which helps their chances even more as far as getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, and then the Clarksville Whirlybirds only have about 3 games left, whereas the Hoppers have 4 plus the automatic win on Wednesday. And the way it was explained to us up here not too long ago before the game started was that if the Hoppers go 2-2 in those 4 games, they have a pretty good shot at making the playoffs. So that's a strike thrown down the middle for an 0-1 count. And if they go 3-1, they're pretty much guaranteed to make the playoffs. But both of those will have to include a win over Clarksville on Tuesday.
And so as you say that, swing and a miss there. So now an 0-2 count. Big game on Tuesday. If you are a Hopper fan or are in the area, if you've been to any road game, that would be the road one to go to, just there in Clarksville, Tennessee, as Hoppers really need to get that win, as that'll be a strikeout looking there. All 3 strikes back to back. And now 2 outs with a runner at first. And the Whirlybirds, the next day, they'll play the full count rhythm, which is proven to be a tough team in this league. So that could also be a loss. And that'll be a grounder. Perkins will try to dive for it. He gets a glove on it, but can't get to it. So a base hit there. Charlie Furbit was at the plate, the lefty. Brinkley will move to second. And now runners at first and second with Garner Anderson at the plate. And the Whirlybirds wrap up their season against the Fulton Railroaders. And that'll be on the road.
And so if the Hoppers were to lose tonight, they really only have about one more loss of wiggle room, but that loss cannot come to Clarksville because that will be not only a loss, but you'll be adding a win to Clarksville's record.
As the breaking ball there is called striking. And to say, I mean, not to be the bearer of bad news, but the Hoppers have not fared well against the Whirlybirds as far as the total, their record. It's 4-0, the Whirlybirds against the Hoppers. So Hoppers will be looking to get their first win, as that'll be an outside pitch there for ball.
And also saying all that, that's also to assume that the Whirlybirds go 1-2 in their last 3 games. They could very well do better than that, and if they were to do better than that, then it would be a tough look for Hoptown. So you need them to lose the full count, and you need to beat them at home. So there's their 2 losses.
Yeah.
And just assume that they, or go ahead and give them the win against Fulton for the worst or best case scenario for them, worst case scenario in that situation. But if they were to beat Fulton and beat either one of us or full count, then they're probably in the playoffs.
And inside pitch there makes it a 2-2 count. And it's that time of the year where you start having to break down things and see how your team can make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, and on top of all that, if the teams were to tie.
Breaking ball there will be chopped towards Perkins. He'll field it. He'll make the throw to first. And that is the final out there. As I'll let you finish your thought, Ethan.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. If they were to tie, the Clarksville Whirlybirds would get the spot due to their win of the series.
As we'll go ahead and wrap up what happened in that second inning when we come back after our timeout. 3-0 is the score. The Railroaders lead. That's what I'm looking at the Manpower Hopkinsville scoreboard. Coming up, it'll be Oliverio, Van Hooser, and Bell starting things off in the bottom of the second inning. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. And welcome back. 3-0 as the Hoppers are trailing against the Fulton Railroaders. Railroaders leading 3-0. As coming to the plate will be Dom Oliverio, and Hoppers wearing some different jerseys tonight. There's a story behind that, Ethan.
Yeah, these jerseys are, I don't know if they're theater themed or movie themed, but they're like a dark burgundy red with gold lettering and popcorn and drama masks on the back of them. And you can call in and bid on those, bid for your favorite player's jerseys. As that is a wild pitch over the top of the catcher and deep into the netting, nowhere close. But yeah, you can call in and bid on those jerseys. Your favorite player, maybe your kid out here for Hoptown if you're watching over the broadcast, and the number to call is 270-305.
There's a broken bat there, grounder to second, the throw is made, and that is an out to Oliveira. That's the best broken bat we've seen all year.
Yeah, I mean, that went in 3 different directions. But as the broken bat stops me in my tracks. If you want to bid on any of these jerseys tonight, it's 270-305-4350. That's 270-305-4350 to bid on any of the jerseys tonight.
And so after the broken bat, I remember at the beginning of the season, Coach Albin had discussed he would not be giving away any broken bats on the air. He said, don't ask. But that'd be a pretty cool one to take on. I wonder if you threw the right price on the auction, could you possibly get Oliverio's jersey and the bat? That's a swing and a miss there.
You know, I think the reasoning for that is because if you you can get your like a bat back for cheaper if you prove that it broke. So giving them away kind of makes you pay full price for a new bat. But no, last year they were just getting handed out left and right. When
Really? Breaking ball there. Looks good and sounds good from the umpire. That one had a big drop to it. So now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tate Van Hooser is at the plate. And a swing and a miss there as Van Hooser strikes out. So now 2 outs. Now Stephen Bell will come to the plate. New walkout music, as that'll be a foul ball inside throw. You have players like Stephen Bell that are in the lineup consistently. It almost seems weird to see them come out to different music.
I know when Luis Vialda the other night, who isn't in the lineup every night, but I was very obvious, walked out to new walk-up music. I actually really liked it. I thought that was probably the best walk-up music of that game from Vialda. I was kind of hoping to see him in one of these last few home games just so we could get that. It's not even, it wasn't like a Hispanic rap music like sometimes we hear. It was almost mariachi.
As that'll be a swing and a miss, drop, third strike. Bell will jog over to first, and the throw is made, and that will do it for the Hoppers. It was 3 up, 3 down. The last 2 outs came via the strikeout, as there were no hits, no errors, none left on base, and no runs scored. As we look over at the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, looking for a job, visit Manpower on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville today. Let them connect you with the great position where you can start tomorrow. The score 3-0. Railroaders over the Hoppers. We'll be back with the top of the third action coming up here. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Locally owned and operated. Radio WHOP.
And welcome back, as the Hoptown Hoppers are currently trailing here 3-0. First pitch thrown here will be outside, as Cade Rogers is at the plate for the Railroaders. One 0 the count. That's a throw right down the middle. So now 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, and if you're Gerard, you need to get through this top of the third inning quick here. The last one lasted too long. He knocked that pitch count up, as that's a swing and a miss for the second strike and a 1-2 count. And you know, you talked to Davari, and he did mention doesn't want to overthrow any arms, but at the same time, you kind of want these guys to go deeper than usual. So quick innings would help.
As that ball looks like it'll be just fair and caught there. Nice catch from Stephen Bell out in right field. Now Aiden Gibson will come in. He scored the first run of the game, as he originally walked. Throw there is outside. So 1-0 the count. One out here with 1 ball and no strike. That throw will be fouled towards the screen in front of the first base bleachers. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking ball there is going to be A shot towards right field. It's falling, and it's in the glove of Stephen Bell. So back-to-back catches from Bell lead to 2 outs. And now Emery Wright will come to the plate. He struck out looking in his last at-bat.
Yeah, and this is kind of how Gerard operates. He's been doing it all year, and he had a couple games in the middle there where he was struggling to get it how he likes it to go, but he's very much a pitcher who works to get these flyouts to the outfield, and if he can do that more often than not, that's what he wants to do. But strikeouts are not his first go-to there. He's trying to get those flyouts on the slower off-speed pitches.
1-0 the count, and that's an off-speed pitch for a strike. So now 1-1 the count. Hoppers again wearing their theme uniforms. It looks like a movie night uniforms with popcorn and a Hopper logo. As a strike is called there, it does come out of the glove of Keebler. But 1 ball and 2 strikes. Also the drummer mask as well. The Railroaders wearing almost similar color as far as the base in a burgundy kind of color. As that'll be a check swing, and a ball is called there with orange lettering. I'll tell you, Emery Wright is at the plate, is from Knoxville, so he might enjoy these orange uniforms a bit. As that'll be a strikeout looking, and Wright tries to point towards the plate. He says that wasn't close, as he will walk. But he is going to have to walk to the dugout, as that is a strikeout looking. 3 up, 3 down there. No hits, no errors, and none left on base with no runs scored. As we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning, looking at the Manpower Hopkinsville scoreboard, 3-0 Fulton over Hoptown. And up to bat, it'll be the 7, 8, 9 batters. Carter Hood, Keebler, and John Keebler and Devin Keebler, back-to-back batters, as we will see that in the bottom of the 3rd. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP.
It's a 3-0 score, as the Fulton Railroaders are leading the Hoptown Hoppers. Another change of walkout music here is Carter Hood will be at the plate. Colonel Field getting some new tunes. As of course I imagine Devin Keebler will have some music we haven't heard before either. New player for the Hoppers. First pitch is inside for a ball to Carter Hood. And the first 2 innings, it's been 3 up, 3 downs for the Hoppers. So they're trying to get their first hit, as that'll be a swing and a miss. A bit of a late swing there from Hood, makes it a 1-1 count. On deck is John Keebler, as that ball will be fouled, and that will hit the facility for the Hoppers near their first base dugout. So now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And that'll hit Carter Hood, and he heads to first base. And, you know, we've talked about it as far as how much Carter Hood gets hit by baseballs. I know he got hit last night. I would be, you know, curious to see. I don't think it's probably recorded anywhere how many games in a row now he has been hit by a baseball.
I don't think that is a stat, but
I wish we were keeping track of it, because
it feels 14 times now in the season.
It feels like it's every game.
Breaking ball there is low and inside. One ball and no strikes. That is another low and inside throw to John Keebler. So now 2 balls and no strikes. That throw is too high as well, so now make it a 3-0 count. The 3-0, that is inside, so 4 straight balls will walk Keebler. And now runners at first and second. As listening to a fan, one of the fans just yelled out, okay, let's see which one is better. As Devin Keebler has come to the plate, the brother of John Keebler. And this will be his first at bat for the Hoptown Hoppers. And Devin Keebler comes from the same college as Jacob Dilday at Wren Lake College. And Keebler is the same with his brother John. They both come from Paducah, Kentucky.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're looking for expectations for Devin, if he can just watch balls go by the way John does, then I'd be very happy. Hitting wise that'd be fine too, but the on-base percentage would be very nice.
As he's showing bunt, and he will lay one, and that ball goes foul near the third baseline. That's a positive sight there to see him going for the bunt. And you see it get close like that. Wearing number 14 is Devin Keebler. So an 0-1 count here. The throw showing another bunt as he will lay one down. That one goes straight to the pitcher. The throw will be made. That is an out, but runners advance to second and third, so job is done there from Devin Keebler.
Yeah, and Tom Barnhart's about to bat again, and earlier I was trying to get a thought out about him and was interrupted from a play, the last play of an inning. But we remember this Bowling Green team not being great, but Barnhart was part of those Bowling Green teams earlier this season that absolutely destroyed Hoptown for 2 straight games.
That is very true. And you think about it, you don't like to bring it up too much, but you think about that 26-4 win for the Pistons against the Hoppers. You are correct. He is a big part of that. And it's just nice to see him play for our side here as the ball is thrown, so that makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
And he's a big dude too. I mean, he's not massive, but he's a big guy. I'm sure he has a lot of power in the bat.
The 1-1 as that ball will go towards the left field, and it gets past the glove, so one run will at least score. Coming in is Carter Hood. Now trying to round is Keebler. He'll slide and he scores. And now going to third will be Tom Barnhart. And so a nice shot there. Make it a double for Barnhart. And scoring is Carter Hood and Keebler. So now 3-2. The Railroaders lead the Hoptown Hoppers.
Yeah, Barnhart, a big smile on his face. I'm sure that felt really good.
That's as in his second at bat, that's a breaking ball called ball. Good way to start your debut here for the Hoppers. As that ball will be grounded, it will be fielded. The throw will be made to first, so a run does score. You have a tie ball game here. Out at first is Perkins. But scoring will be Hoppers. So now 3-3. It's 2 outs. And Luis Vergara will come as time will be called. And I think there's an issue going on.
Yeah, Davari is getting into it with one of the umpires here. I don't know in regards to what, but that was a random occurrence. I mean, I don't know, maybe telling people to get into the dugout, maybe?
That's my guess, is to see that something is being marked down. I'm assuming it's a warning, but a thing that's not mentioned, you said you wanted to talk about it. Ethan, if you tell us about these jerseys and this night that we're having is take shirt off back night.
Yeah, the shirts off our back night, it's for these jerseys, these custom one game only jerseys, the theater, movie, whatever you want to call it. I don't know which one's which jersey, but if you want to bid on any of these jerseys in the silent auction tonight, it's 270-305-4350. And you can bid on your favorite player's jersey, your son's jersey, whatever it may be, at 270-305-4350.
1-0, that is outside. So now 2 balls and no strikes. Invergar's last at bat, he had flied out to center field. They use some nice looking uniforms too at that, as that'll be a high pitch. So now 3-0 the count. And there isn't anyone warming up for the Railroaders in the bullpen, but it may be about that time, as the Hoppers have scored 3 runs in this inning. A strike looking there makes it a 3-1 count. And just like that, Hoppers back in this. That ball will be hit high as it goes towards right field, and it's still in the air and is eventually caught there. So that will do it for the 3rd inning for the Hoppers, as there was 1 hit in that inning. There was 1 error. There was none left on base, or excuse me, 1 left on base, and 3 runs scored. As looking at the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, 3-3 is the score as we head to the top of the 4th inning, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Radio WHOP.
And welcome back here as the Hoppers are tied with the Fulton Railroaders at the top of the 4th inning, with the Railroaders currently at bat now, as it's Jimmy Manzella at the plate. He reached on an error as the first pitch is called strike. Now, if you were at home listening or on YouTube watching and thought there's got to be a reason they have these movie-themed things on their jerseys, well, there is, as the 0-1 count. The throw is made. That ball be fouled behind home plate. So now 0-2 the count. Campanile Productions is where the money will go from the profits of the silent auction, as they are being told a part of a lot of things that go on here as far as productions. So that is where the theme comes from for the movie night. So, and again, the number to call for that is you can try to win one of these jerseys is 270-305-4350. And swing and a miss there is a strikeout against Manzella. Strikeout number 5 for John Gerard. Now Carter Davis will come to the plate. He has 1 and only at bat, and it was a double. So he has 1 of the 4 hits. The throw, that ball will be hit towards the left center. That ball might be gone. It looks like it's going, and no, it is in a deep left field. Oliverio is there to make the grab. And for a second, it looked like he could go.
Yeah, there just wasn't quite enough power behind it, but as far as the swing is concerned, it was pretty much perfect. You could tell from the way it sounded that was a perfect swing. I just don't think he swung it quite fast enough.
As
And, you know, to be honest, now that I'm looking at it, they're not in the bullpen, but it might be a pitcher warming up for Fulton in the field behind the dugout.
You know what? I think that's exactly what we're looking at, which never seen that before as far as here at Colonel Field. I don't know if there's something wrong with the bullpen or what the case is there, but still getting their warm-up in. So I did mention I didn't see anyone warming up, but nice eyes there from Ethan. As there's some discussions between, there was the coach for the Railroaders was discussing things with Connor Brinkley. Brinkley had a base hit in his last at bat. DeVaria came and said some words to the umpire as well, home plate umpire.
Yeah, and we've seen two chats as that's a strike down the middle on the off speed. We've seen two intense chats between the Hoppers coaching staff and the umpires tonight. Another strike thrown, that's on the inside. And I can't, if I'm being honest with you, couldn't tell you what either of those conversations were in regards to.
You know, I do wish we could have it mic'd up. Maybe we shouldn't, though, depending on the conversation, as that'll be a strikeout there. And 3 up, 3 down. 2 of them came by a strikeout, as there were no hits, no errors, none left on base, and no runs scored. As looking at the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, 3-3 is the score. A tie ball game as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, where we will see Oliverio Van Hooser and Stephen Bell will come to the plate. Again, a 3-3 the score. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
This is News Radio WHOP AM Hopkinsville and WHOP HD3 Hopkinsville. News Radio WHOP.
Oliverio at the plate for the Hoptown Hoppers. It's 3-3 here at Colonel Field. Hoppers taking on the Fulton Railroaders. First pitch is inside for a ball in the bottom of the 4th inning here.
Yeah, new walk-up song for him too. Let's Groove
that
by Earth, Wind, and Fire. As Oliverio switching it up late in the season.
As a pitch there, it's too high for a ball. You know, I've known that song probably for years now. Never really knew that was by Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'll tell you what, you hang around Ethan enough, you'll learn some stuff about music.
I like to think of myself as a music connoisseur, if you will.
2 balls and 1 strike. We need you on those Name That Tune
Oh yeah, dude.
TV shows. We need to see you on that.
I don't know if I'd be quite as good as those folks, but I'd put up a good fight.
2-1 the count. Throw there is a strike, just a bit inside and high. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Oliverio. This is Oliverio's 2nd at bat. He had grounded to the shortstop in his last at bat, and he'll wind one near right field. The right fielder trying to track it down, and he makes the grab. Has to stick his arm out a bit, but he gets it there near deep right field.
Yeah, I mean, that one has sneaky depth on it because Oliverio really didn't get that ball very well, and it still made it all the way back to the wall in shallow right field, as far as one of the closer parts of the outfield to hit a home run in. But I think that's where we saw Artem Logvinov's home run earlier this season.
Breaking ball will hit the leg after hitting on home plate. Once again, never felt that pain before, but just looking at these players, I know that's got to hurt. Is Van Hooser trying to walk that one off. Oh, 1 the count is Van Hooser is starting to make his way to the plate, grimacing a bit. Breaking ball there is called strike, so quickly an 0-2 count. 235 fans in attendance for this game. That ball is too low, so now 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2, that ball will be an infield fly near the shortstop. Backing up and making the grab is Connor Brinkley. So now 2 outs. And Stephen Bell will come to the plate. His throw there is outside. You know, I mentioned earlier Stephen Bell having new, different walkout music. I think that's the exact same one he's used all year. So maybe a bit of an error there. Yeah, I thought it was something else, but
either an error or it was Stephen Bell's doing the classic different walk-up song every at-bat kind of look, which I would assume is not the case.
As that'll be in short right field, making the dive. No, ball is not caught. As
it is caught.
The third base umpire is saying it is caught. Ethan, did you see that play better than I did? I thought it came loose.
I thought it came loose, but I think that was a piece of an article of clothing or some sort that actually came loose. But I'm still not 100% sure if he caught it. He may. That very well could have been a trap off the ground, but yeah, hard to tell.
The umpire had a closer look than we did, so we'll take it. But 3 outs, as it was 3 up, 3 down for the Hoppers. No hits, no errors, and none left on base, with no runs scored. As we look over at the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, looking for a job, visit Manpower on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville today. Let them connect you with a great position where you can start tomorrow. The score is 3-3 as we head to the top of the 5th inning.
WHOP.
And still a tie ball game here, 3-3. And now the top of the 5th inning, as the Hoppers are currently taking on the Fulton Railroaders. First pitch throw there is a ball. Tasso Foster is at the plate. So 1-0 the count. The throw from Gerard. That ball is outside for a strike. So now 1 ball and 1 strike. And another outside throw there for a strike as well. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 throw is swung on and missed. So another strikeout there for John Gerard. And back-to-back for Tassos Foster at the plate.
Yeah, and Gerard hitting his stride right now. Back-to-back zeros left on the board previous to this inning, and starting this one off with a strikeout, finding his rhythm.
Lefty batter Charlie Furbitt's at the plate. He'll check swing. He did cross the plate, so a strike there. Furbitt had a base hit in his last at bat. Facing an 0-1 count here, the lefty. That's an outside throw for a ball. That one far from the plate. So now 1 ball and 1 strike. An inside throw there, 2 inside for a ball. So now 2 balls and 1 strike. As that ball is inside as well. So now a 3-1 count. That ball is going to be hit going towards left field. It'll be foul, but making the grab there is Oliverio in foul territory. And so now 2 outs with Garner Anderson coming at the plate. Anderson rounded out to second in his last at bat as he'll swing and miss there on the inside throw. And he did reach on a drop third strike in that first inning. A strike called there. So now 1 ball and 1 strike.
Think about John Girard. You don't see from a lot of pitchers here in this league. He has a ton of pitches.
As that will be thrown or hit towards the bullpen. I have noticed that balls is doing more than just dropping. It's different movements.
I mean, every single pitch is different in almost, it seems like.
As that ball will be high, making it a 1-2 count. One, two, that ball will be foul. Not sure if it'll go towards the screen. And it does. It lands right in front of a spectator on the concrete.
Yeah, that was a close one to be in.
They didn't move out of the way either. I'm glad that they were unharmed.
That would have hurt for sure. And then right in between 2 of them, it looked like.
There's another foul ball. That one, there's people ducking. That one goes a little bit past the bleachers near first base. So Anderson staying alive here in a 1-2 count. Throw there is a bit high and outside. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, 3-3 the score here with 2 outs. The throw, breaking ball. That one will wind near right field. Trying to track it down is Stephen Bell. He gets under it and he makes the grab there. So 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the 5th inning. No hits, no errors, none left on base, and no runs scored. As looking at the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, 3-3 is still the score. Next up, it'll be Hood, Keebler, and Keebler for the Hoptown Hoppers in the bottom of the 5th inning. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Radio WHOP.
3-3 is the score as the Fulton Railroaders are in town taking on the Hoptown Hoppers at Colonel Field. The Hoppers are set to bat here. It's Carter Hood, John Keebler, and Devin Keebler. In the bottom of the 5th inning, Carter Hood was hit by a pitch in his last at bat for the 14th time on the year. Swing and a miss there on the first pitch. Still pitching is Griffin Page for the Railroaders. Swing and a miss on the second pitch So now 0-2 the count.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at Page's night, he's been excellent. You know, 3 runs, but that's only coming off of 1 hit.
And another swing and a miss there is the strikeout. So that's the first out. Now John Keebler will come to the plate.
Number 2, John Keebler.
And All Clean Services are the game day sponsor in tonight's event. I believe All Clean Services is also on the back of these jerseys as well for the Hoptown Hoppers. Breaking ball there is low for a ball.
Yeah, and speaking of those jerseys, make sure you get those bids in before the middle of the 8th inning. That's when as he shows bunt there, and we'll see it go through for a strike anyway. The auction will end at 8:30, or not 8:30, excuse me, the middle of the 8th inning today. But to put those bids in, it's 270-305-4350.
And 2 balls and 1 strike, and all the profits will be donated to Campanile Productions as well, as that is an inside pitch there for a strike, as Keebler will turn a bit. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes with the 1 out to John Keebler. Breaking ball there drops just outside. So now a full count. The 3-2, that ball is fouled, and it will go near the batting facility for the Hoppers, as we see the children scattered for that one. Full count, 1 out. The throw from the lefty, another foul ball, as that one goes behind the Chick-fil-A broadcast booth.
You know, they said 235 on the attendance tonight, but it actually looks like more out here today, as both sides are pretty much full.
You know, I would agree with you. I think that as that'll be a fly ball near right field, and it is caught for the 2nd out. You know, I think during attendance, there might have been a couple of people in the concession stand, maybe we were
sneaking through, and not you know, paying for a ticket up at the front or something like that. But no, I mean, it is nice even at 235. You know, we were in full count last night, and they had a solid 30 people in attendance. So
wow. Even
having 235, which is not one of the higher numbers we've seen this season, is very good in this league.
I mean, to be real too, that's kind of looking from just a outside perspective. It's kind of interesting to see a team like Full Count as, you know, one of the best team in the league as far as the record is. That'll be a hard grounder to first, and it is fielded there. A great job there from Cade Rogers, getting the grounder from Devin Keebler as he tagged the bag. But finishing the thought, just interesting to see, see one of the best teams in the league not really get the attendance that,
Yeah, best team in the league in a big city right next to Nashville.
Too many things to do in Nashville, I guess.
That could be it. I think a lot of it is the folks in Hoptown really do love this baseball team.
As 3-3 is the score, we'll take a timeout, and we will have top of the 6th inning action coming up here. Looking at the Manpower Hopkinsville scoreboard, 3-3. This is Hoptown Hoppers baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Three to 3 is the score here. It's still a tie ball game, as we do have a new pitcher For the Hoptown Hoppers, Stephen Jones from UIndy is on the mound. As the Hoppers are currently taking on the Fulton Railroaders. It's 3-3. And the game has been moving by pretty swiftly so far. As not too many teams have got or not too many hits from each of these teams. 4 hits for the Railroaders and just 1 for the Hoppers. But that is not the number that matters. As 3-3 is what I'm seeing on the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. As Stephen Jones is getting some warm-up pitches here.
Yeah, John Gerard pitched a great 5 innings, but I do think that second inning where he did pitch throw so many pitches, probably did sink him and didn't allow him to come out here in the 6th. But Stephen Jones throws very fast. He has a lot of speed on these pitches. Not as much control as someone like Gerard, but he's hard to hit.
As that is a strike called there. Cade Rogers is at the plate. 0-1 the count, the throw. That ball will be a pop fly near Van Hooser at first, and he gets the grab. So now 1 out. And Aiden Gibson will come to the plate. As Devin Keebler comes and chats with Stephen Jones. A right-handed pitcher and Stephen Jones. Aiden Gibson flied out to left field in his last at bat. Was walked in his first. Throw there is inside for a ball. So a 1-0 the count. Throw there will be grounded. Trying to track that down is Keebler at the shortstop position. He'll make the throw, and that is an out there. Nice bit of a sidearm throw there from Keebler. As that is the second out. Now Emery Wright is at the plate. Wright is struck out looking in his last 2 at-bats. So 2 outs here. Throw from Jones, breaking ball, that one outside. Will make it a 1-0 count. So 1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0, that ball inside, moving out of the way there was Wright. So now a 2-0 count. Two balls and no strike. 3-3 is the score. Throw there will hit the dirt before it reaches home plate. So 3-0 the count. Three balls, no strikes with 2 outs here. The throw, that ball is low. So walking will be Emery Wright. And now Jimmy Manzella will come to the plate. He struck out in his last at bat.
You know, I could be wrong here, but Jimmy Manzella looking a little different.
You're right. I'm looking down at my paper before I'm looking at the.
Jimmy Manzella just looks like a totally different guy. Now he's in the opposite batter's box as well.
And you know, if this is Diego Duguay, I believe, how you pronounce his name, he's listed as a right-handed pitcher.
Yeah, and he pitched
on the
against,
roster.
He pitched against Hoptown in that last game in Fulton as well.
So a strike, but batting left-handed. So interesting there. And so now 0-1 the count. So Diego Duguay. Outside throw there will make it 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, and that's something you see very often in a tied game, 3-3 in the 6th inning. A guy taken out who already has a hit in the game coming out for a right-handed pitcher.
As that'll be a swing and a miss there. As Manzella was just 0 for 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes now.
He must. Did Manzella reach on a? What did he? He
reached on an error.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was about to say. I knew he had.
He actually scored as well.
He was that one that was almost tagged out at third on the automatic double.
As that ball will be fouled in front of the dugout for the Railroaders. So 1 ball and 2 strikes remains to count for Diego Duguay. And a high pitch is swung on. It is fouled behind home plate. So the count once again remains the same. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Duguay is from Texas A&M International University and is from Edinburgh, Texas. And he's trying to steal from first to second. That ball will be hit high near right field. And it is caught there by Bell. As that will do it. As there were no hits, there were no errors. There was 1 left on base. And no runs scored as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, where it'll be back to the top lineup. It'll be Barnhart, Perkins, and Vergara starting things off for the Hoppers. It is 3-3 looking at the manpower of Hopkinsville's scoreboard. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP.
And welcome back. Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander. Tie ball game here, 3-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Seemed like a couple of substitutions have been made. As coming in for Cade Rogers is Bennett Detrude. So Detrude will come into the game. And it seems like a couple of defensive changes too, as Detrude will play at center field. There's a left-handed batter. Barnhart will get a shot there going past the first baseman. And a base hit. Make it a back-to-back for Barnhart. And like you said, what we've seen from Bowling Green and playing against Bowling Green and what we're seeing now, I got a good feeling about Barnhart here playing for the Hoppers, as he is already now shown with 2 for 3 at the plate, shown some consistency at the plate in just this 1 game.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said, he was one of those batters for Bowling Green that got the hit off Brady Ginnivan, as Sam Perkins has struck directly in the middle of his back to move him to first and Barnhart to second. But yeah, Tom Barnhart is someone who, you know, if you can hit off Brady Ginnivan in this league, you can probably hit off just about anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about his hitting acumen. So that is another batter to come into the lineup, and as well as an outfielder, because we've already been told that Luis Vergara, who's currently at the plate, prefers just to be the DH, and that kind of allows for Oliverio to move into left field and give Luis his ability to fully concentrate on hitting.
As now it's 3-3. All 2 hits in this game for the Hoppers have come by Barnhart, by the way, as that pitch is inside for a ball. So 1-0 the count with runners at first and second. As you mentioned, Luis Vergara is at the plate. As that is going to be fouled. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1, that ball will get towards center field after going past the catcher, trying to score as the ball will get loose, actually. So scoring, and at third safe is Sam Perkins. So Sam Perkins is safe at third. Barnhart will score, and Vergara gets the hit. And is not sure what they'll call that one, whether it was a single or a double. I believe it's a single, and then an error there kind of is what ended up reaching or helping out the Hoppers there on the base running. As they'll say a single for Vergara. And now 4-3. The Hoppers lead the Railroaders. Runners at second and third here. As that ball is going to be fouled. And it will hit the roof and then hit the bricks near the bleachers. So now Oliverio is facing an 0-1 count now. And runners at second and third with no outs here. Great position for the Hoppers. Van Hooser is on deck. The throw, breaking ball. That ball is outside for a strike. So now 0-2 the count, as Oliverio finds himself behind in the count. The throw, breaking ball. That ball we hit towards the center field. Backing up forward, trying to make the grab. He does, the center fielder, but tagging up will be Perkins. And sliding and tagging up will be Vergara. So a run scores as Perkins will come in and score, and Vergara will head over to third.
Yeah, and a little bit of a rally here for Hoptown. No better time than now to advertise these Hoptown Hoppers jerseys that are on auction tonight. These drama-based movie jerseys. You can call in at 270-305-4350 to bid on any of these players' jerseys tonight, and all the proceeds and profits gained from that silent auction will be going to Campanile Productions here in Hoptown. So make sure to call 270-305-4350 before the middle of the 8th inning.
As
that's actually foul. It was fouled up into the Hoppers dugout, but the first baseman reaches way over the Hoppers, I don't know if you want to call it the dugout fence or dugout blockade or whatever you want to call it, reaches way over it into the players to catch that ball for the out.
And so now Stephen Bell comes to the plate with 2 outs and a runner at third. Throw there is too high for a ball. Unfortunate out there from Oliverio. Or excuse me, Van Hooser there on that last play. Now Stephen Bell swings and misses. That's a 1-1 count. And another swing and a miss. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still pitching is the lefty, Griffin Page. Throw there, breaking ball will be chopped and fouled So now count remains the same at 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 throw. That ball just too low, I believe. May have looked good from up here. But 2-2 the count. That ball is going to be fouled as that one goes to the field behind the dugout for the Railroaders near third base. So 2 balls and 2 strikes still the count with 2 outs and a runner at third for the Hoppers. 5-3 the score, as that will be an outside throw and a breaking ball. So now a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The lefty Bell at the plate. The lefty pitcher makes the throw, and that ball will be fouled once again, as that one will go to the left of the third base dugout. Bell fighting here. The 3-2, that ball will be a strikeout looking there. As Bell made his way over to first, he will make his way to the dugout. Strikeout looking there, as that will do it. As there were 2 hits, there were no errors. There was 1 left on base, and 2 runs scored as the Hoppers took the lead. 5-3 is the score as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard again. It's 5-3. Hoppers lead the Railroaders. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP.
And welcome back here. 5-3 is the score, as the Hoppers lead the Fulton Railroaders. As the Railroaders are currently at bat in the top of the 7th inning. Carter Davis, the right-handed batter, he's at the plate. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Had a double in his first at bat. He'll show bunt and actually be hit near the face. I don't know if he hit the butt, hit the bat, and then hit him in the face. And so a foul ball there.
As he didn't fully commit to that bunt. He kind of put the bat out, but didn't really get down and lean into it, and was almost standing straight up when the ball hit the bat and it bounces and hits him in the face. They're gonna bring a trainer over to check on him, but yeah, he's gonna walk in the dugout and get checked out, because that's dangerous. Obviously, he's fine enough to walk it off, but they're gonna want to give him the concussion protocol and make sure he didn't break a jaw or anything like that. So,
and so it'll be a new player. I'm hearing 17, so that's Jackson Garrett. He'll come to the plate.
I can't remember. Jackson Garrett may have been the batter who went 4 for 4 against Ginnivan, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
No, well, actually, I'll look that up for you, see if we can find it here.
Because there was a batter in that Fulton game that hit off Brady Ginnivan every single time and had a home run. And I'm almost positive the name Jackson was in his name, but I can't remember if it was first name or last name.
It was Jackson Garrett. Jackson Garrett, yeah, he went 4 for 4 on the day. Ended up scoring 2 runs and had an RBI.
Yeah, and that RBI was a home run RBI. So this is a very good hitter coming up to replace the injured batter there.
And a lefty as well.
So jumping into an 0-1 count right out of the gate for him after the missed bunt and strike to the face from the previous batter.
And that's a ball thrown to him. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 is a strike there, just outside. So now 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 throw is high there. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Stephen Jones has been pitching for the Hoppers, right-handed pitcher. Throwing against the left-handed batter here. The throw is going to be high. So now a full count. No outs here, as we had just started this top of the 7th inning. The 3-2 was swung on and missed on the high heater. And Garrett will strike out for the first out of the top of the 7th. Now Connor Brinkley is at the plate. And Hoppers will be in action tomorrow night against the Madisonville Miners at 6:30. At the pregame show at 6:15 on News Radio 99.3 FM, 1230 AM. And Hoptown Hoppers TV, as that first pitch will be hit towards left to center. It will bounce, and getting behind it, as going for 2 now will be the runner, and I don't think he got the tag. He did not. So Brinkley will make it to second.
Yeah, the ball beats him there, but heads-up base running there from the runner to slide and kind of slide to the inside of the field and around the second baseman Perkins, who was kind of standing straight up expecting the low middle tag, and he goes around him to make it to second base.
So Brinkley now 2 for 3. And up at the plate is Tasso Foster. First throw was swung on and missed. So 0-1 the count. One out here with the runner at second. That's an outside to throw there for a ball. So now 1 ball and 1 strike. So runner at second. Again, 1-1 the count to throw. That one's high for a ball. So now 2 balls and 1 strike. And that ball will be hit towards the center field. Getting behind that one is Barnhart. He'll make the grab and trying to tag out from second to third. The throw is made, and it'll be just off the bag. But making it in time is Brinkley. So now 2 outs and a runner at third. Charlie Furbett for the Railroaders now at the plate. Again, 5-3, the Hoppers lead the Railroaders. The throw, that one is high. So 1 ball and no strikes. We're in the top of the 7th inning. The 1-0 pitch, breaking ball is high and outside, making it a 2-0 count now. The 2-0 is high and outside as well. So now 3 balls and no strikes. And a runner at third. The 3-0. That is down the middle for a strike. Fastball. 3 balls, 1 strike now the count. The 3-1 is going to be too high, and walking will be Furbit. So now runners at the corners at first and third. And it'll be Garner Anderson coming to the plate. And it looks like it will be a conference between Coach Albin and Jones.
Yeah, and they do have a pitcher warming up, but apart from that walk and a walk in the last inning, Jones has been pretty solid. So I'm assuming he'll stay on the mound here and battle this one out. Try to get out of this inning. That'll be 2 full innings pitched from Jones, and then I assume they'll bring a closer in for the 8th and 9th.
As is right, I believe just a conference here, just some chatting going on. As the umpire will make his way over to the mound. So 2 outs here, 5-3 is the score. And currently batting will be Garner Anderson.
You know, we were talking about it, but they are bringing in a new pitcher. Maybe something that Stephen Jones said, maybe not feeling great or something to the extent, but it did look like this would be a conference at first. They're bringing in Jackson McTire here to continue this inning and probably try, you know, I would assume they'll try to finish the game out with him, as he's a pitcher they like to pitch at the end of games. So Jackson McTire.
And so we'll let him warm up a bit, get a few warm-up pitches thrown. As again, 5-3 is the score as the Hoppers lead. We'll take a timeout and have more time of the 7th inning action coming up after this.
WHOP.
And welcome back as the Hoppers are currently competing against the Fulton Railroaders. And a new pitcher, Jackson McTire, has come in for the Hoppers. So he replaces Stephen Jones. And he'll face Garner Anderson here. It's just 2 outs in the top of the 7th, but there is a runner at third and a runner at first. Anderson is 0 for 3 on the day. He did reach base once on a drop third strike. As that's a throw for a strike there. So 0-1 the count. No 0-1 pitch there is low. So now 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1, that is a high pitch. So now 2 balls and 1 strike. You've got a 2-1 count too, right, Ethan?
Yes, the scoreboard a little bit of lagging behind here, but 2-1 count.
So 2 balls, 1 strike. That throw is swung on and missed there. Tipped, actually tipped the ball there, but landed in the glove. So now a 2-2 count. The 2-2 throw is going to be fouled. Again, 2 outs here. Five to 3 is the score. The Hoppers lead the Railroaders. The 2-2 pitch is going to be fouled again. A bit of a late swing there, but staying alive there is Garner Anderson. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Throw there will be chopped and grounded towards third base. The ball will get loose there as Hood had it in his hands and then lost the ball. So an error there from the Hoppers will help a run score as Brinkley comes in. So now runners at first and second. Showing bunt there and laying it down as a good bunt there right towards third base. Beautiful work there. As that was Bennett Detrude. He came in for Cade Rogers earlier in the game.
Yeah, a smart bunt. I mean, not only do you not expect a bunt coming with 2 outs, but if you know you have the foot speed there, bunting it to the player who had the error the previous play is a smart play.
And so now the bases are loaded here with 2 outs and Aiden Gibson at the plate. Gibson 0 for 2 on the day. First throw is a strike. Higher in the strike zone there. So now 0-1 the count. And another strike there. A bit of a check swing, but Gibson didn't go. Didn't matter though. Now no balls and 2 strikes. And bases loaded here with 2 outs, and it's a 5-4 lead now for the Hoppers. Here in the top of the 7th inning. The 0-2 is going to be a grounder as that one diving for it. And a score does come in, and now a throw to home. Another score will come in. And going to third now, sliding and safe. There's a lot of things happening there. It started off a base hit with Gibson, and then coming in to score was Furbit. The throw is trying to dive there and gather himself, I believe was Keebler, as he's I believe he might have hurt his hand a bit, or wrist, some area. He tried to dive for a ball, got a bit loose. And so then that had caused Anderson to round around and score. And then Detrude was able to make it all the way to third base after all of that happening, as the throw to home helped him And Gibson with the base hit there.
Yeah, Coach Davari making his way out to check on John, who is clearly in pain walking around. I'm not sure what he heard, if it was a hand, if it was something else, but he's clearly not feeling good. So Coach Davari going to check up on him. You know, this team does have a couple players who can play shortstop, so seeing him come out and maybe being replaced here due to injury, not the worst thing in the world, just because you don't want someone like Keebler, who will likely be in most of your lineups for the rest of this game, playing this out hurt.
As I think we'll see what happens here.
You know, there is a chance that that is the same hand that he hurt when he was catching the other day. And so that could just be an aggravated injury.
It still seems like he's walking it off here. I'm not sure if he's trying to pull something with that. He's kind of squatted over a couple of times, but regardless, he's still in. Now Emery Wright will come to the plate. The Railroaders have taken the lead here. 6-5 now. As I believe it was an 0-2 count there to Gibson before his base hit. And it was almost over for the Hoppers as a strike is thrown there.
Yeah, and this isn't McTire's fault at all. I mean, he has got 3 ground balls already that could have been out. So not his fault in the slightest, as that's a ball to even the count up at 1 apiece. But, you know, I do have to question the decision to take Jones out, unless Jones asked to be taken out. Because apart from 1 hit, he was doing all right.
That will be hit towards right field. It goes past Bell, and it lands fair. So a run will score, and now trying to round the bases coming. The throw will be made to home, and sliding in. The throw was made to third, and in a pickle now is Wright, excuse me, and he will be tagged out. So that will end things. 2 runs do score, though, as Detrude will score, and Gibson scores as well, but out after rounding the bases, after I believe you can call that a double. Trying to make it to third, he was thrown out. So now 8-5 is the scoreboard. We're looking at the manpower of Hopkinsville's scoreboard. And it is also the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Visit them today on Fort Campbell Boulevard and download the Chick-fil-A app for online ordering. The score 8-5. We'll be back for bottom of the 7th inning action, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP AM Hopkinsville and WHOP HD3 Hopkinsville. News Radio WHOP.
8-5 the score here. As a new pitcher for the Fulton Railroaders, Brady Malco will come in. Malco, a right-handed pitcher from Broadhead, Wisconsin. And I'm looking at who's up to bat for the Hoppers. It looks like there will be a new player at bat.
We're going to draw for a split the pot here real quick. Enjoy your
as Logvinov has come in for Carter Hood. And John Keebler and Devin Keebler will be on deck.
You know, and I was about to say maybe they'll slide Hood to shortstop, take Keebler out, but no, Keebler is on deck. You can see him warming up to the side, so looks like Logvinov, either that or Logvinov will play shortstop and they'll move Keebler to third base.
That would be my guess.
Which is what they had the other night.
Strike is called. So an 0-1 count to Carter Hood. Strike called there. So 0-2 the count now to Logvinov. No balls, 2 strikes. Also a new pitcher, as that ball will bounce on home plate for a ball. It's Brady Malco for the Railroaders. Malco comes from the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater and is from Broadhead, Wisconsin. 1 ball and 2 strikes here. Throw there will be grounded to the shortstop. No, the third baseman will just steal that one away, and coming in to score, or excuse me, not to score, but safe at first is Logvinov. As the third baseman, I mean, kind of just robbed that one.
Yeah, and I don't know if it would have mattered just because of how slow that ball was coming in. I think the shortstop would have gotten to it about the same time, but Logvinov's at first. I will say, in regards to the silent auction for these jerseys, you have this bottom of the 7th inning and then the top of the next inning, and that's it. So if you want to have a bid in on any of these jerseys tonight, so that ball's down for a ball. Go ahead and call 270-305-4350 to bid on any of these jerseys. That's 270-305-4350. All proceeds go to Campanile Productions in Hopkinsville.
As I believe another ball is thrown, so 2 balls. A 2-0 count now. And now another ball is thrown, so now 3 balls and no strikes. So a 3-0 count. And walking now will be Keebler, and now Devin Keebler will come to the plate. So John Keebler walks. Devin Keebler now has a chance at bat with runners at first and second, as there will be a conference on the mound.
Yeah, a hit and a walk, and these Railroaders don't want to give up this lead that they got in this inning. Currently up 3, which, you know, this late in the game, 3-run inning, 3-run lead is good, but they don't want to give that up right away, and so they do already have a pitcher warming up, and it wouldn't surprise me if this pitcher were to walk another or give up another hit if he were to come out very fast. Especially when you have Barnhart up next, and he is 2 for 3 today.
There's a bit of a gesture there from Devin Keebler to the infield. As Davari will actually bring in some players to discuss things.
Yeah, I mean, you know, looking at earlier in this game, Devin Keebler laid down a bunt in this situation, same exact situation, no outs and runners on first and second. So I don't know if maybe they had told him to do that and then now are switching it up, or maybe the opposite. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is definitely a game plan meeting in regards to this at bat.
As I believe actually it was the catcher. Wright had kind of chatted with the infield. I think he was telling the infield to scoot in. So that kind of had Davari come out and maybe change the game plan. So maybe we won't see a bunt shown here, as a bunt is actually going to be shown before the pitch is even thrown. And he has it in front of the plate. Throw there, taken away. They call a strike now, steal,
Wow.
and the ball gets loose. So now coming in will be Logvinoff. He will score. And that's a nice play drawn up there from Davari as they showed the bunt, had everyone ready for it, but actually made a double steal. And wow.
That is the best strategic move I've seen from this team all season long, as far as hitting and base running is concerned. He had told them to steal no matter what, because with the infielders in, there was no one to block the bases, and so not only did they get the steal, the error from the catcher there will score the run. So incredibly smart there from Coach Davari.
And now you have a 2-1 count to Devin Keebler. And a runner at third here. 8-6 is the score now. A run just did score. Logvinoff came in. That's a high pitch there. So now 3 balls in 1 strike. And what a move there. I'm still kind of baffled by that one.
And that explains why he was doing the bunt so early, was to make sure those infielders didn't back up thinking it may not have been a bunt.
And that'll be an inside throw. Strike is called. Excuse me. Well, I was ready for to say inside throw for a walk, but full count now. Again, no outs on the board too. So great chance here for the Hoppers to get some more runs. That'll be a swing and a miss there on the high pitch. And so Devin Keebler will strike out, and now Tom Barnhart comes to the plate. Tom Barnhart Vergara.
No, that's Villalobos.
Is that Villalobos?
Manuel Villalobos' walk-up music. So maybe a bit of a, as that's a strike thrown, maybe a bit of a
an homage.
Respect paid to Miggy Villalobos, who left the team after Friday's game to go back home.
As that'll be an inside pitch there. So now 0-2 the count. The lefty Barnhart with 1 out and a runner at third. Hoppers do not want to leave Keebler at third base. That ball will be hit high towards center field and mid-center. It's caught. Keebler will try to tag out. The throw is made, and it is off the base, and Keebler scores. And so Keebler will come in and score. And now Sam Perkins is at the plate. So 8-7. Railroaders with a slight lead now. Perkins sees the first pitch come to him as a ball. So 1-0 the count. And another low pitch there, as these throws just coming in just a bit too low. Two-0 there is outside, so now 3 balls. And no strikes. 3-0, that will be a strike. Inside there. So now 3-1 the count. And that is a foul behind home plate. So now a full count. No runners on base here with a full count. The throw is low for a ball 4. Perkins will walk, and now Luis Vergara will come to the plate. So 8-7. The score, Hoppers down by 1. Tying run is at first. Go ahead is up to bat, and Luis Vergara. First throw right down the middle for a strike. Again, Brady Malco is pitching. Right-handed thrower for Fulton. 0-1 the count. That ball is low and stays near the bag or the plate for a ball. So now 1 ball and 1 strike. In here in the bottom of the 7th inning. If Vergara can reach base, Oliverio's on deck. The 1-1, that ball fouled towards the screening by the bleachers near first. So now 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes, a runner at first. The throw is just outside. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Vergara. And again, 2 outs with the runner at first. As trying to steal is Perkins, and he'll have to come back after the foul ball behind home plate. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the ball is thrown there to over to first, Perkins is safe. He kind of looked like he was going to steal again, and then he tripped up on himself and had to dive back to first, but didn't make it in time. The ball was thrown, so now full count.
Yeah, now they're telling these middle infielders to spread out. I'm not sure if that's the smartest move. The last time Luis got a hit, it was straight down the middle.
As stealing there doesn't matter as the ball is thrown to Vergara. So back-to-back walks now. And looking over at the coach for the Railroaders, he is glancing over at the bullpen.
Yep, and he just got the signal that the pitcher's ready to go. So that is exactly what's going to happen here. They're going to get a pitching change and try to pick up this last out before this game gets potentially tied.
8-7 is the score. And we are going to see a pitching change. Oliverio will come to the plate, looking to get his first hit on the day. Again, 8-7. Fulton leads Hoptown. We'll take a break, and we'll find out who the new pitcher is for Fulton. And as we say goodbye to Brady Malco on the mound for Fulton. Again, 8-7 is the score. Fulton leads Hoptown. We'll be back with more bottom of the 7th action coming up here. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Eight to 7 is the score as the Fulton Railroaders lead the Hoptown Hoppers with now runners at first and second for the Hoppers. Oliverio's at the plate with 2 outs and a new pitcher for Fulton. As it'll be Logan, I believe Logan Wilsker. On the roster, it says he's a right-handed pitcher, but he is definitely, from the looks of it, a left-handed pitcher. So I'm not exactly sure if this is Logan Wilsker. As 8-7 is the score. The throw will be a strike there. So 0-1 the count to Oliverio. Got some 0-1 the count, the throw He is high for a ball. So now 1-1 the count. Again, runners at first and second with 2 outs. As foul ball there, that one will go behind home plate. So now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Not exactly sure of the story here, but there are some younger kids here with some baseball uniforms on. So I believe we have a youth team here that's here to support the Hoppers. And they're getting these Let's Go Hoppers chants going. 1-2 the count, the throw. Breaking ball, that will be a base hit as it goes towards right field. And staying at first will be, or staying at third will be Sam Perkins. As it was a short, hit there over to right field. And now the base is loaded. Oliverio gets his first hit of the game. Vergara moves to second and Perkins at third. First pitch is a ball to Tate Van Hooser. As Perkins came off of the bag and kind of slid down once again. He's able to get back up. A foul ball there behind home plate. So now 1 ball and 1 strike. Big point in this ball game here with 2 outs and a bases loaded. And a 1-run lead for the Railroaders. One the count. The throw, that ball will be smoked foul. way left of the left field fence, but that
Smoked is the right word. Yes.
that ball came off hard. But regardless, now a 1-2 count for Van Hooser, and he might be one more of those. The 1-2, that is fouled behind home plate. Tate Van Hooser is also looking to get his first hit of the game. Oliverio just got his, and this would be a big point and a nice opportunity to get your first one. The 1-2 throw will be fouled, and Wright is in pain. Emery Wright, the catcher, has to shake one off there. He got hit somewhere in the body. And so the count remains the same at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, 1-2 the count. Bases loaded here. The throw from Wilsker is swung on and missed. Big strikeout there for Fulton. As that's the 3rd out. And looking, there was 2 hits. I believe there were no errors. There was 3 left on base and 2 runs scored. As looking over at the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, heading to the 8th inning, 8-7. Fulton leads Hoptown. We'll take a break, have more Hoptown Hopper baseball coming up, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP.
A tight ball game here at Colonel Field. 8-7 is the score as Fulton leads Hoptown here at Colonel Field. And the Railroaders are batting right now. Pitching for the Hoppers is still Jackson McTire. Diego Doogie is at the plate, left-handed batter. First pitch to him is a ball, so 1-0 the count. As that'll be a high throw there, making it a 2-0 count. You know, if the Hoppers, if they were to fall in this game, that bottom of the 7th would be a thought there, leaving 3 on base there. A tough situation. But Hopper still with some chances to get back in this game. 8-7, as that's an inside strike there, right down the middle, excuse me, was that one. 2 balls and 1 strike. The throw was swung on and missed, evening the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2-2 the count, and time is called. As time will be called. As I believe a balk is going to be called.
You know, it's
or not a balk.
It's not a balk.
Just a pitching violation as far as taking too much time.
But you know, the issue at hand is that they're gonna, because of that, they're gonna give the batter a ball. The issue at hand is that McTire stepped off and called time, which is supposed to reset the clock, but that umpire said that it's a continuing clock.
Full count, and that pitch is too high. So Doogie will walk there. So a ball was called. See, the umpire said too much time was taken, and it looks like a pinch runner will come in, number 3. I believe that's Aiden Cloud from the University of Montebello from Rome, Georgia. So some more speed is being thrown in on the field for Fulton. Swing and a miss there, as Jackson Garrett is at the plate. Foul behind the home plate. That makes it no balls and 2 strikes. Jackson Garrett, 17 hits on the year, has a .293 batting average. As that will be hit towards the left field. Trying to track that one down is Oliverio, and he makes the grab. So going over back to first is Cloud. That's actually going to be the 3rd player to play in that position. And Cloud. So now at the plate is Connor Brinkley. He's 2 for 3 on the day, as he'll foul that one to the screen near the 3rd base bleachers. Oh, 1 is the count, with 1 out and a runner at first for Fulton. 8-7 they lead, and a strike there right down the middle makes it an 0-2 count. So no balls, 2 strikes, runner at first. Breaking ball is swung on and missed. May have tipped the ball a bit, but landed in the glove. So now 2 outs, and Tasso Foster will come to the plate. So now runner at first with 2 outs. First throw will be grounded. Trying to track that one down as Keebler. It'll go to the chest, and he'll just lob it up there for the second baseman, Perkins, to tag the bag, and that's the force out. As there were no hits, there were no errors, there were none left on base, and no runs scored as we look over at the bottom of the 8th inning. And 8-7 is the score looking at the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, and I believe they said they'd be done at 8:30, so I want to go ahead and throw that out one more time. If you would like to possibly get a shirt off their backs jersey, you can call the number 270-305-4350 to place your bid on the silent auction. Again, the jerseys that they are wearing, the profits will be donated to Campanile Productions. So check that out. Again, 270-305-4350. Parents, go ahead and get your baby's jersey. I have a memory for you. But 8-7 is the score. We'll be back for bottom of the 8th inning action as the Fulton Railroaders currently lead the Hoptown Hoppers.
WHOP.
Eight to 7, the Railroaders are leading the Hoptown Hoppers. Stephen Bell is at the plate now for Hoptown. First ball is fouled, as I think same thing that happened to Van Hooser earlier is a foul ball into the legs of Stephen Bell off of the plate as he'll walk that one off. Pulls at its right toe a bit. So 0-1 the count after the foul. There's Bell still taking his time. And the Madisonville Miners will be in town tomorrow at 6:30, taking on the Hoptown Hoppers. Be sure to check that one out. As pitch thrown there, that ball foul behind home plate towards the screen. So 0-2 the count. Remember too, as we mentioned a couple times, as the Bowling Green Pistons, believe they will no longer be playing baseball as a team this year. So all of their games will be forfeits to the other team. So that Wednesday home game for the Hoppers will now just turn into a forfeit. So that makes it, after this, just 2 more home games for the Hoppers, not counting the postseason if the Hoppers can make it.
Yeah, I do hope that Bowling Green team can make a comeback next year with some maybe better situations as far as actual field and facility. But, you know, it would be a shame to lose a team like Bowling Green. I mean, that's a good area to have a team in this league. So hopefully they can make a comeback next year and then come back a little stronger.
1 ball and 2 strikes to throw. Breaking ball. That ball will just be lobbed there, and it'll be a base hit as Bell gets it to go in center field. It looked almost a bit outside, and the swing there was strictly for contact there. And nice job from Bell to put it where it needed to be.
Yeah, he does that a lot if you have paid attention to the way he bats. And it's because his arms are so long. He's such a lanky guy that on those outside pitches to stay alive, he's trying to foul them off. But he just reaches out and keeps the bat in the area as long as possible. And he's had a couple of those this year.
Wilsker, lefty, pitching for Fulton. Strike is thrown there to Artie Logvinov. And a ball thrown there. So now 1-1 is the count. Logvinov did have a base hit. He's only had 1 at bat as he subbed in for Carter Hood. Breaking ball there, and ooh, it looked like it might have been a strike, but just a bit outside and high maybe for the ball. So 2-1 now the count. That ball will be fouled as that one goes behind the first base bleachers. So now a 2-2 count to Logvinov. Runner at first with no outs. On deck is John Keebler. Logvinov had scored in the previous inning, as that ball will be hit high. And I believe the outfield may have lost it for a second. They did find it as the center fielder will make that grab.
Yeah, I think what happened was that the shortstop was jokingly put his hands up like he was going to catch it, and that confused the outfielders who thought it was not quite as deep as it was, and then he had to make a sprint to that one, the center fielder did. So a little bit of a miscommunication there from the Railroaders.
So now in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Hoppers have a runner at first with the 1 out. Breaking ball is outside there, so 1-0 is the count. So Stephen Bell at first, John Keebler at the plate. He walked in his last at bat. That throw is going to be called strike there on the inside throw. So 1-1 the count here with 1 out. And it's trying to steal is Stephen Bell. The throw will be made, and safe is Stephen Bell, as the throw was on the outside side of the bag, so Bell was able to slide inside safely.
Swing and a miss there from Keebler, though, so count now 1-2. He's trying not to be that second out on the board. That would make the situation a little stickier for Hoptown.
As that is a high throw there. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
If you're this pitcher, you need to throw him in the zone, because John Keebler not going to swing.
As that ball will get loose. And so now at third is Stephen Bell. So a full count now with the 1 out. And a nice position here for the Hoppers to at least tie it, if not take the lead, with now a runner in scoring position at third. And a walking John Keebler, as he will go to first. So now runners to the corners at first and third, and Devin Keebler will come to the plate. Keebler is 0 for 3 on the night. He did have a nice sac bunt earlier in the game. But Keebler trying to get his first hit as a Hopper. As that will be a base hit. He'll bring in an RBI as that's past the shortstop for the grounder. So a tie game, as Stephen Bell will score, and a base hit for Devin Keebler. His first of the season comes at a great time for the Hoptown Hoppers. John Keebler will move to second. Now runners at first and second with Tom Barnhart at the plate. He's 2 for 4 on the evening.
It's a 2 for 3 or 2 for 4 since it was a sac fly.
Good point. I got 2 for 3. You're right, 2 for 3. As that will be outside for a ball. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Barnhart. The throw is swung on and missed. So now 1-2 the count. And 8 all, 1-2. That ball will be hit towards the left field. It'll drop. The throw will be made over to home. And now the base is loaded after back-to-back base hits. Barnhart gets another one. So make him 3 for 4 on the evening.
Yeah, and if I'm looking at Barnhart's performance tonight, you know, one game in, he's probably cemented his spot in this lineup already.
I think that's that would be agreed. As mentioned too, that Davari, when he kind of saw that they were low on numbers and the possibility that they might disband it, the Bowling Green Pistons, or be done for the season, he said he reached out to the coach about a couple of players, and Barnhart, I'm sure one of them. And as we mentioned, Barnhart has had good performances against the Hoppers as well, so love to see him have one with the Hoppers, as there is a meeting on the mound between the pitcher, catcher, and coach. And one out here with bases loaded.
And, you know, he said he reached out to a couple players, and, you know, from what it looks like Barnhart may have been the only one that took him up on that offer. I wonder if he reached out to Rolone, the starting pitcher, who started those 2 games for them. I mean, I thought he was pretty solid, and he went 5 or 6 innings in both of those games. As well as he actually hit in that last game as well. So
yeah, maybe a possibility too that some of those Pistons players went to different teams. As breaking ball there will be a strike called, just a bit high. As Perkins, not a tall player. 0-1 the count with the bases loaded. That ball will be low and inside. And you want to be careful if you're Wilsker here. That might have been what the coach was saying. You do not want a wild pitch here. If a run's going to score, you want them to do it the traditional way with an RBI. That'll be a grounder. The ball will be at third. They'll throw over. That'll be the forced out. And nice infield play. As the umpire, they're kind of coming from the dugout. The umpire, I believe they're trying to say the third base umpire had called safe.
No, they're trying to say that the third baseman stepped on third base, and that would negate the force out at home and allow that run to score, as it was not a tag, it was a force.
And so regardless, the umpires disagree with the opinion there. So 0-1 is the count. As that'll be a chopper to the shortstop. It's fielded, the throw to second, and that will be an out. And nice defense there from the Railroaders, as they were able to get the third out there with no runs coming in, or no, not a second run coming in, should I say, to keep the game tied. As 8-8 is what I am looking at on the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. 8-8 as we will head to the top of the 9th inning for the Hoppers. In that 8th inning, there was 3 hits. There were no errors. There was 2 left on base and 1 run scored. As we look over at the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, once again, 8-8. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
When you've experienced the
Radio WHOP.
And it's a tie ball game here, and it's been a fun one. 8-8 is the score. And Ethan, you pointed out an interesting stat from the scoreboard. 8 runs apiece. It's also 8 hits apiece between the Hoppers and the Railroaders, and 2 errors apiece as well. Runs have been scored in different ways, though, as the Hoppers have scouted out their runs between 4 innings. The Railroaders just 2, as that'll be a low ball swung on there. A chopper fouled. There's Charlie Furbitz at the plate.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at it that way, this may be, especially here in the 9th inning, this may be the most competitive game of baseball we've seen this summer.
I don't think I can argue with you there. As a strike is thrown there. I will say, I think one of the most fun games, I was actually there as a fan, but that very first game against Clarksville that went extra innings, that was a pretty fun one to watch as well. But as far as statistics goes, definitely evenly matched here. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Throw there is too low. So now a 2-2 count. And Furbit at the plate. He was walked in his last at bat. He was one of those runs that scored in the 5-run 8th inning, as that'll be a foul ball. So the count remains the same at 2-2. Again, tune in tomorrow night, or come out 6:30. The Hoppers will host the Madisonville Miners. Monday Night Baseball. 2-2. That ball will be chopped and in the glove. No foul. I believe they're saying that the ball had bounced on the ground. The umpire says the ball might have bounced on the ground before it went in the glove. And so it looks like the umpires are going to have a chat here and discuss things. I didn't get too good of a look there. I mean, the ball definitely ended up in the glove of Keebler.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see. Usually you can kind of base that stuff off the sound.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
But I don't have a clear look on it. But I would almost guarantee that the umpires don't overturn that call.
And yeah, I don't think that they will, but you never know. Maybe that third base umpire got a better look. So it'll either be a strikeout or a 2-2 count. And so the call stands. Foul ball. And it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the tie ball game 8-8. This is the first batter for Fulton in the top of the 9th. McTire pitching. The throw is high as that one goes past Devin Keebler. So now a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The 3-2, that ball is swung on and missed. Strikeout there. And now Garner Anderson will come to the plate with the 1 out. I mentioned this is a big game for the Hoppers as they are trying to get that 4th spot in the standings of the South Division. That's a strike there to Garner Anderson. So now 0-1 the count. As that'll be a foul ball near home plate. So now an 0-2 count quickly. Clarksville Whirlybirds are currently ahead of the Hoppers. They have a 14-17 record, with the Hoppers having a 14-19 record. A throw there is a ball. Hoppers, they'll have more games coming up. They'll have, as the pitch here, 1-2. That is a strikeout looking for back-to-back strikeouts coming up for the Hoppers. They'll have the Miners tomorrow, the Whirlybirds on the road Tuesday. We're supposed to play the Pistons on Wednesday. That'll be a forfeit win in the schedule. And then on Thursday, it'll be a matchup against the Paducah Chiefs in the final regular season game. And it looks like the umpire is going to approach Davari here. Not exactly sure what they're discussing, as I think the umpire is covering his mouth as well.
And you know what? All three of those games are winnable. The Clarksville game is a must-win. You can't lose that game. But all three of those games are winnable. But I will say that Paducah absolutely mauled this team the other night. Probably the best hitting I've seen from any team, so that'll be a tough win. And they've been playing well lately. I think your best shot at getting in the playoffs is winning this game here tonight and winning against Madisonville tomorrow.
For the Whirlybirds, too, coming up, they'll have the Hoppers on Tuesday. They'll have Full Count Rhythm on Wednesday, as that's a high pitch for a ball. And they'll end their season against the Fulton Railroaders themselves. So you look at that, and you could possibly say those are, you know, Clarksville looks good on their side as well. So 2-0 the count. Again, 8-8 is the score here with 2 outs. Lefty batter Bennett Detrude is at the plate with a 2-0 count. That's the first strike in the count there, outside a throw for a 2-1 now the count. All 2 outs have come from strikeouts so far in this inning. And that is strike 2. Justin McTire is heating up here.
Yeah, and he's a closer in trade, so 9th inning's where he likes to be.
As that'll be a foul ball behind home plate, so the count remains the same at 2-2. Does seem to be a player warming up for the Hoppers. And from the looks here, I grabbed the binoculars here in a moment, it looks like that could be Chase Grunow.
That's what my guess would be as well.
A high pitch makes it a full count.
I assume that if the Hoppers go into extra innings, Grunow will likely come out in the 10th.
The 3-2, that is too high. So Detrude will walk. And Aiden Gibson will come to the plate. As I believe that is Chase Grunow in the bullpen. So runner at first with 2 outs to throw. It is going to be a high ball there. So now 1-0 the count against Aiden Gibson. Gibson 1 for 3. He had a base hit in his last at bat. The 1-0, that ball will be a shot towards left field, and it will bounce in front of Oliverio. So now runners at first and second. As Detrude will advance to second, and Gibson gets his back-to-back base hit there. Now batting for Fulton will be Emery Wright. He is coming off of a double. He ended up getting thrown out, but he got a double in his last at bat. 1 for 3 on the evening. As that'll be a strike called there on a breaking ball. So 0-1 the count. Runners at first and second. Again, 2 outs in a tie ball game. 8-8. Hoppers playing against the Fulton Railroaders. The 0-1. That one is a bit low for a ball. So now 1-1. One ball and 1 strike. That throw will hit home plate. And no throw will be made as that ball got a bit loose there from Devin Keebler. But staying at first and second are the Railroaders base runners. So 2 balls and 1 strike here with 2 outs. And runners at the first and second bases. And another pitch there will hit the dirt before it reaches home plate. So now a 3-1 count, a risk of loading the bases here. 3 balls and 1 strike. is Emery Wright at the plate. Right-handed batter. The throw, that ball will be grounded, a high grounder. That one goes to center field, and trying to score as it'll be fielded, the throw and scoring. As the throw will be made and an out will end the inning, but not after the run scores. So scoring will be Detrude, and getting a bit greedy there were the Railroaders, trying to send Gibson to third, and he was thrown out. And so that will do it, as there was 2 hits. There were no errors. There's 1 left on base and 1 run scored. Thing is getting a bit tricky now for the Hoppers. They have to score at least 1 run to keep this ball game going. Is looking at the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, 9-8. Fulton leads Hoptown. We'll be back for the bottom of the 9th inning. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP.
9-8. The Fulton Railroaders lead the Hoptown Hoppers, and a new pitcher for the Fulton Railroaders. It'll be Kylan Stepter. Kylan Stepter is from the University of South Alabama and is a right-handed pitcher from Hernando, Mississippi. And now Oliverio is at the plate for the Hoppers. It'll be 4-5-6 here, with the Hoppers needing to score a run, down by 1 run in the bottom of the 9th inning. The first pitch from Stepter is inside for a ball.
Yeah, the Hoppers have scored at least 1 run in the last 3 innings. This would be a tough time for that streak to end, but they've been consistent for the latter half of this game.
1-0. It is a strike there. Still looking, so 1-1 now the count. One ball, 1 strike. Throw there. It is going to be another strike. So now 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2, that ball is outside. Just outside and low there for a ball. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Oliverio is coming off of a base hit in the 7th inning. The 2-2 throw. That ball was a strikeout there, as Oliverio bit on the low ball there. And now Tate Van Hooser will be back at the plate. He can get some revenge here, or redemption for himself, as it was a big moment in that 7th inning where the bases were loaded with him at the plate with 2 outs, and he struck out, as the first pitch here will be outside for a ball. So Tate has an opportunity to come up huge. A 1-0 the count. 1-0 there. That's a strike and some heat being thrown from Stepter.
Yeah, this pitcher has some gas on those throws. Not the best control in the world, but honestly, if Van Hooser connects with one of these, it's going deep.
As that ball will be low there for a ball. And you want to get players on base against him, because you maybe see, as the way out of control, you could see some wild pitches there, hopefully advancing some runners. So now 2 balls and 1 strike against Tate Van Hooser. A check swing there, and the umpire says he didn't go.
Yeah, and Van Hooser walking here would be huge. The Hoppers kind of found themselves unlucky part of the lineup with 2 guys back-to-back, and Oliveria and Van Hooser, that don't walk very often. A walk here would be big.
As that is going to be a walk after the high pitch, so Van Hooser will go to first.
And now they're in a much safer part of the lineup as far as strikeouts are concerned. Oliverio struck out, but Van Hooser survives and makes his way to first. And now you have pretty much 4 straight guys who are on base. Well, actually, I mean, go straight into the top of the lineup. So 6 straight guys here that are on base.
And I believe might be having a substitution here, as the third baseman, I think, is showing a bit of a limp. And so the player coming at second, so Foster is going to move to third. And going out at second will be Drew Baskin. Some changes happening here. So the lefty, Stephen Bell, is now at the plate with 1 out and a runner at first. And Stepter pitching. That's an outside throw for a ball. So 1-0 the count. One ball, no strike with 1 out. The throw, that is a check swing strike there, called. So now 1-1 is the count. Throwing over to first, and in time is Van Hooser.
Yeah, and other than resetting the pitch clock, don't know what the point of checking on Van Hooser is. He's not leading off too far.
1-1 there is too high. So 2-1 is the count. Again, 1 out with a runner at first for the Hoppers, and they are down 9-8 right now. The 2-1, that will be a shot towards left field and diving.
He got it.
And he makes the grab. They will call the out.
Yeah, he got that one. I mean, the one earlier in this game was close. That was a really good play out in left field.
So make it now 2 nice grabs for Charlie Furbit, both diving on his stomach. And deflating there a bit for the Hoppers. Have to stay locked in now. As now 2 outs, and Artie Logvinov is at the plate. He flied out to center field in his last at bat, but did have a base hit earlier in this game in the 7th inning. So big spot now for Logvinov as the Hoppers are down to their last out.
And what you want to see right here is actually a walk. I mean, getting a runner in a scoring position without even it being a question, and then having a better, no, there's a high inside pitch called a strike, and it just wasn't a strike. But if Logvinov can walk here, and you have both Keeblers coming up who today have been doing great on advancing guys, that's a much safer position.
The 0-1, Logvinov will see that strike cross the plate. So now 2 strikes with no swings here. And quickly things here. An 0-2 count. That ball is low and near the foot of Logvinov. So a ball there, 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball and 2 strikes. Throw there, that ball will be hit towards right field. We'll see if it drops. The dive No, it doesn't. No, it does. As a diving catch there to end the game. I couldn't see from this distance. And wow, was that the right fielder there that made the grab? A nice job there as Anderson makes the grab to end the game, and 2 back-to-back difficult outs for the Railroaders, as that was not easy by any means. And you hate to see it if you're a Hoppers fan, but you tip your cap to some great defense there from Fulton. As the Fulton Railroaders defeat the Hoptown Hoppers 9-8. As we'll go ahead and take a timeout here. In that inning, there were no hits, no errors, none left on base, or excuse me, 1 left on base. And no runs did end up scoring. So 9-8 is the final score. As we'll take a timeout and have our post-game show coming up after this.
Radio WHOP AM Hopkinsville and WHOP HD3 Hopkinsville.
Welcome back to Colonel Field here, as the Fulton Railroaders ended up defeating the Hoptown Hoppers 9-8 in a game where this game was tied at the 8th inning, and Emery Wright ended up singling on a 3-1 count that ended up making it the go-ahead run for Fulton. A game where we saw the Hoppers fight in a tough loss. Jamar Perkins here, joined by Ethan Alexander. Ethan, the final thoughts in this game. Obviously, you hate to see it as a Hoppers fan, but good defense at the end by Fulton. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, as far as Hoptown offensively is concerned, we saw them get 8 hits, which is a good number for them. 8 runs. They took advantage when they needed to, and we even saw a moment with that steal that ended up being a run. Excellent strategic moment there from Hoptown. I mean, as far as offense goes, the team was very, very good, and they just came up short overall. Defensively, I didn't think they were bad by any means. Some missed timing stuff. I probably would have kept Stephen Jones out there to finish out that 1 inning where they scored the 5 runs, and let him finish that one out, and let McTire get a couple more throws in to warm up before coming in and pitching 2 full in 8 and 9. But up until those last 2 outs, this is an even game, and at the end of the day, you got to clap it up, because not only did Fulton have 1 fantastic play to keep the game a win for them, but 2 to finish it off.
And again, our game summary is brought to you by North Trust Insurance, serving Medicare customers with prescription drug plans, Medicare supplement plans, and Medicare Advantage. Visit them today at 305 North Drive or call 270-885-0811. And I mean, not the results you want if you're the Hoppers, but some good baseball being shown. And the Hoppers, you look ahead, and we'll get more into that after we take a timeout. They have some work to do, but it was a game where we saw, as far as pitching, we saw just three pitchers come in, and 10 hits ended up being the result. But I mean, the pitching also for the Hoppers has gotten better throughout this season, so that's something to where the Hoppers, some of these games they're tough. When you look at the Hoppers in their season, you look at some of their close losses, you flip those, and Hopper's record probably looks much better. But it was a tough loss this evening. But we'll go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we'll discuss our player of the game and talk about what's to come ahead for the Hoptown Hoppers. Again, the Fulton Railroaders defeat the Hoptown Hoppers tonight 9-8. We'll take a break and come back with more of a post-game show. Here, this is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Kentucky Sports Radio with Matt Jones. Weekday mornings at 9 on Hoptown's News Radio, 99.3 WHOP.
As still taking place at event as far as the shirt off their backs. The Hoppers doing that currently right now as they had a bidding going on as far as the jerseys for the Hoppers. And all of the profits will be donated to Campanile Productions. And that'll take place, I believe, tomorrow. They said at the next home game, so that'll be tomorrow. And the theme is support the Hoppers, support the arts, as they're currently doing that right now.
All right, folks, we're going to get started on the
But the Hoppers did end up losing to the Fulton Railroaders 9-8 in a game where we saw Fulton have 10 hits compared to the Hoppers' 8 hits and 2 errors, which were tied with the Hoppers' 2 errors. A game where this was back and forth and tight, and we saw Fulton. There was some important innings. He thought 3-run second inning to kind of take the lead, and then right after that, the Hoppers tied it up in the bottom of the third to make it 3-all. And the Hoppers ended up taking a 5-3 lead, only to see the Fulton Railroaders end up scoring 5 runs in there. And so that gave them the lead and made it 8-5. And then, of course, the Hoppers were able to put 3 more runs on to tie the ball game. And then it was that top of the ninth, a run scored for Fulton, which made things a lot more difficult for Hoptown, as maybe planning to at least win the game or go extra innings. But 9-8 ended up being your final score. And our player of the game is brought to you by Skyline Animal Clinic and Oak Grove Animal Hospital, who supports all the area schools, athletes, and students. Skyline Animal Clinic has been your source of veterinary care for small animals since 1956. Call them today for all your pets' veterinary needs. Pretty easy selection for us tonight, Ethan, but tell us who the player of the game was.
Yeah, again, like you said, a pretty easy selection. I do want to give a shout out to John Gerard, who I thought pitched excellent in his innings tonight. But our player of the game is Tom Barnhart in his first game as a Hopper, playing center field tonight. He went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs and that big double to get this game started offensively. He actually had the first 2 hits for the Hoppers today. So an excellent debut. If you want to take a positive out of today's loss, I would say the addition of Tom Barnhart was that positive to take.
I agree. And also, I mean, you talk about Devin Keebler. He ended up having a sac bunt and a hit, too. So that was something that it seemed to be nice, too. And, I mean, you look at it, it wasn't honestly too many wild pitches that were even thrown, but we didn't see really much get past them behind the plate either. So a nice showing for the 2 newcomers. And and Barnhart and Keebler. But again, player of the game is Barnhart, and just literally played the Hoppers on Friday and turned around 2 days later and was close to almost helping the Hoppers get a win, but as the Hoppers ended up coming short. But do want to talk about what's to come up for the Hoppers, as tomorrow it's not on the original schedules that were put out, but a Monday game against the Madisonville Miners. Tomorrow against the Madisonville Miners, it'll be a 6:30 game with a 6:15 pregame show on News Radio 99.3 FM, 12:30 AM WHOP. And after that, it'll be a away game against the Clarksville Whirlybirds. And that will be a big game. Tomorrow's game after this loss is even bigger, but that Clarksville game will be huge, as the Whirlybirds are in the 4th spot ahead of the Hoppers currently. Bowling Green Pistons will actually just end up being a forfeit win for the Hoptown Hoppers. The Pistons will no longer be playing on the OVO. And then on Thursday, the very last home game of the season, it'll be against the Paducah Chiefs. And then the following weekend will be the playoffs. So the Hoppers will have to wait and see what they do and see if they can make the playoffs. But after that Thursday game, it'll be full swing, consecutive games into the playoffs. But that is what's coming up. And again, tomorrow will be the next time you'll hear the Hoppers compete on WHOP. At 6:30 in the pregame show, at 6:15 on News Radio 99.3 FM, 12:30 AM WHOP. And I want to thank everyone who assisted in this broadcast. Bruce Smiley, Jeff Sisk, and for Ethan Alexander, Jamar Perkins saying so long. I want to remind you to call your loved ones, and while you're at it, tell them go Hoppers.